Hi, hello, everywhere you are. Big greetings. We're starting the pranic process online, and I'm really grateful for these meetings. It's so honoring to be able to join with you each day or each webinar and have these insights
where you are.
And streaming the best light codes for humanity right now with this program. We are streaming currently with 4 cameras, so if you see me looking in different directions, it's just me tuning into all the cameras that we're having. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining.
Recording in progress.
It's so honoring to be with you today. I'm having a special announcement about an event that we have tomorrow, but I'll tell you a little later about it. For those of you who don't know, this is an 8-day program, a program of 8 webinars where we meet every day with a specific topic on how to upgrade your frequency and raise your vibration. And we have also 8 ascended masters that are overlooking this program, so they are helping us and supporting us every day for the streaming. And I've told you all about these 8 ascended masters in the first webinar, so it's so beautiful to have them with us every time. And we work with very specific, very high energies to lift up your frequency, as the planet is now going through a very special time of energy upgrade. So it's time for us to upgrade our bodies, it's time for us to clear our minds, it's time for us to have the highest and best energy for this time to come, because it, as much as it can be full of enjoyment, it can also be challenging. So type yes in the comments if you've had a challenging time during these past months, or especially these past 3 or 4 weeks. I know we all experience some turbulence, but also some high notes. So everything is possible depending on your vibration. You can still join this program. This is the 3rd webinar, and you can be in it if you choose so. We'll send you the recordings if you can't be online in certain days. We're meeting every second day. This has been the rhythm so far. We've been having a meeting each day in the previous encounters or classes, but these last 2 times we've been meeting every second day. It's like the planet needs to integrate these light codes in between sessions. So we're 1 day on, 1 day off. So that's why it's just the 3rd meeting. We still have 5 to go. 5 meetings to go. And you can still join it. You can receive the recordings of the previous meetings. You can also receive the recordings of the future meetings if you can't be with us. And we're having a great time here. Each meeting we're having a meditation at the end. We're including sound healing with these amazing sound bowls. These are just 4 of them, but we have like 12 of them, each one for 1 chakra or a specific deity like Buddha and Kuan Yin and Tara, the goddess of compassion in various traditions. And the flower of life bowl. So we have many sounds that are generating a specific frequency and a specific healing in our body. So if you want to be included in this webinar or the whole program, you can type yes in the comments and we just send you the link to join the whole thing. We will be live on Facebook and Insta for just a few minutes, maybe 20 or less, I'm not sure. We just feel called to stream for as long as necessary, and then we move the whole attention for people that have already subscribed, and we continue. For the ones that have subscribed, we continue with the meditation and with whatever it is that comes for the group each day. I'm also working every day with some beautiful oracle cards that I like to use. It is amazing to have that opportunity to receive guidance from the universe in various ways. So I get direct downloads, but I also get messages like visuals. For example, today I've been seeing angels everywhere, not light angels, but literally physical angels like statues and nightstands and all in the shape of angels. So it's a sign that we are very supported. We've had several other meetings where there were many other synchronicities, as some of you can recall. So it is all guided and supported by the divine. I'm placing a link in the comments for the ones who want to or are interested in joining. And if you're on Insta, we can't put a link in the comments, but I can, however, guide you to look in bio at the Pranic Process Online link that you find in bio. So I was saying that I'm also using oracle cards as well as direct downloads, and I've had fabulous oracle cards for the day that I'm telling you all about, and I'm having another deck right on that I'm gonna use for extra guidance. So we're having this crazy time, at least in my country, where it seems like nature too, it is confused. It doesn't know what season we are. Our bodies constantly have to adapt not only to powerful energies, but to very powerful weather changes. Usually I don't talk about the weather because we know how to make the weather or shift the weather with our intention. But sometimes the programming that it is done in the fields is more powerful than our focus, I would say. So the weather stays bad. So these days we've had 16 degrees in my town and 25 degrees the town next to us, which is, very confusing when you want to visit several places at the same day. It expands your body and it forces it to adapt to temperatures and climate shifts very quickly in one day, and this is happening all over the planet. I'm talking about it not because I'm generally talking about the weather, it's not my favorite subject, but because this time we are all invited to look at what happens to our countries and how are we really influenced by external forces that are unnatural. This is what I really want to talk about. So I'm extending the weather conversation to something deeper. We are very often influenced by forces that are unnatural, unsupportive even. And this is what is happening now with our country and with the world in general. We are, of course, also influenced and supported by beneficial light beings and programming from divine help and so on, but there are many unnatural programming sources that are playing in our fields if we let them, that are giving us weird ways of thinking. To some, it results in a state of pessimism or depression or discouragement. To others, it results in lack of energy and vitality. To others, it results in lack of hope even for life. It's very dangerous that you are subjected to such influences. So this is how I go towards the topic of the day, which is mind mastery and how to master your thoughts, which is crucial if you want to master your energy, right? Because thoughts become energy, thoughts are energy, and they become manifestation in your life. When you know where your thoughts come from, it's easier to um, be extra careful of what you manifest. But when you have no idea what is programming your thoughts, what is influencing your thoughts, and what is creating your thoughts, then it's very difficult uh, to create a better life. So this topic is encouraged and supported by Saint Germain, the master of an immortal master, a master of alchemy, which has lived for several centuries and has been seen in multiple times in multiple courts around, along the world. He has been very familiar with the court of France, but also in England, and he has been seen appearing to the gathering of the creation of the Constitution of America and so on. So has had important roles in several gatherings and royal families which were deciding the fate of humanity. But also has had an important role to several disciples and students that have learned the alchemy from him. And I'm not referring to only the external alchemy, which is about, turning certain things into gold or finding the philosopher's stone and so on. But I'm talking about the inner alchemy, the transmutation and transformation of our thoughts and emotions. So this is the energy that we're working with today. This is what we're going to talk about as a main topic, and probably many other things are going to stream for us. But it is very, very important nowadays that we are mastering our thoughts and that we are trying to get clear of who is thinking in your mind right now, who is influencing your mind, and not necessarily who, as much as where is the direction that your mind is taking you to. And if the direction is okay, you can continue to think that thought. And if your direction is not really okay, you can choose to stop that thought and start thinking of something else. That's very important. And some people will ask, well, how will I shift the direction of my thinking? I cannot influence the direction of my thinking. I will just think whatever I'm thinking, and that's it. We're saying no, you can actually change it. You can actually influence it. You can choose to change your thoughts at any given time if you know the tools of how to do so. Many people these days are waking up with negative thoughts. Type yes in the comments if you do. And many people are discovering that they have negative thoughts during the day without knowing why. Type yes in the comments if you do. Both these things are the result of general planetary cleansing, which is streaming and powerful energy to streaming through our bodies and clearing out or cleansing out or bringing to surface lots of hidden stuff and deeply rooted energies that are of suffering and trauma. But there's another aspect where there's also this almost incessant negative programming that is beaming onto us from what we call the matrix, or a system of, or a grid of thinking and false information and fear-based agendas that are influencing humanity right now. So it is really important, really crucial that we are able to master that and direct our thoughts in a better direction, in a direction that is more supportive and more beneficial for us. And there are several ways to do so. First of all, you can do that by changing your foods, because yes, food is influencing your thoughts and your emotional state. That's why sometimes you feel weary after a big meal, or cluttered in your mind, or your head is clouded after drinking something or taking certain substances, right? Because food and beverages, of course, are directly influencing your thinking, not only your current thoughts, but your way and direction of your thinking in general. That's why personally I don't drink alcohol, I don't have coffee, I don't use substances that are altering my consciousness. My consciousness is altered by prana, and I can choose to do so whenever I breathe. So that's a different way of living in a high state of mind where prana is the new high. And we've been saying this for certain years by now, because the other substances that you might be using are having additional influences on you, not only expanding your consciousness, but also having, extra effects that you cannot necessarily be aware of over time. Some of them show up after a while, and most of them aren't really beneficial. So that's one thing, to keep your food intake and food and substance intake as clean as possible, to the point where at some point you can be on liquids, on our very light food like salads and raw food, and you can be free from toxins and negative information, because each food or any other substance that you're using is basically translating in an information inside your body. That's what's happening to anything that you put in your body. And eventually it results in the information results in a specific energy and a specific outcome in your life. So you are what you eat is not a metaphor, it's a literal thing. So that's one aspect that helps you clear your mind and have a more powerful and more structured direction of your thoughts. And you can easily check that when you had a juice fasting or water fasting for a while. After the first days of clutteredness where the toxins are released, you can really discover that your mind is much clearer and much more organized, and it's much easier for you to make decisions or follow up on projects and everything else. That's why we are recommending a clear food intake, a clean lifestyle that will help you have a clearer path. And that's why when you were going to a yogi master in the past, we are talking about hundreds of years ago, the first thing that he would suggest, and he wouldn't basically take you in as a student before you gave up any toxic foods or substances. So that was the first step, to give up meat, to give up intoxicating substances or like alcohol or anything else, and to really come clean in your body. Otherwise he wouldn't start teaching you how to work with energy, because when you start moving larger amounts of energy through your body, and your body and energy channels or chakras are unclean, it is then dangerous for your health and for your mind state. You can actually have more bad surprises than benefits. So first step, clearing the food and substance intake. Second step would be to learn to move the energy through your body. Sometimes when you're having a negative state or a negative mood, a bad mood, you can easily get rid of it by doing sports or dancing. And that would be, the simplest way, or just shaking it off, in some way, by moving the energy through your body. There were these Osho meditations where people would shake their limbs and their head and all their bodies, which would help them basically shake off that mood. And that is really, really efficient. When I'm feeling that my energy is lower than I'm used to, I am dancing, I am doing qigong, I am doing yoga, I'm taking a walk not just to be outside, but also to move the energy through me. And it most of the times, if not all of the times, result in a much better mood, in a much heightened energy. So moving the energy through your body can clear your mind. And that's why before starting a project or going to work, it's always good to have at least a few minutes, at least 15 minutes of movement of any kind. My daily practice of yoga or qigong doesn't have to take more than 15 minutes to half an hour. It can take longer if I have the time and, mood for it, but it can take 15 to 30 minutes, but it radically changes the way I feel throughout the day. So moving the energy is the second way of mastering your mind. Your mind becomes clearer, your body is less cluttered and happier. And it's not only energy work, but it's also scientifically proven that certain movement can generate certain hormones like dopamine and oxytocin and so on, that can literally alter and change your state of mind. So that's why we're recommending to move in order to be able to master your thoughts. The negative thinking isn't really working when you're moving your energy, or when you're dancing, or when you're having a beautiful time fully present in your body. Another important thing to be able to master your mind is to use affirmations and mantras. Thoughts come to you, come into your head by default most of the times. They come by default because you are programmed in various ways, as I was saying. You are programmed by subliminal programming in TV and commercials and all the media channels that you are visiting. Literally everything is programming your mind with different images and messages. And you're also programmed by society. You have been programmed in school, in family, in your community, and everywhere else. So you're having these default thoughts that are coming into your head regarding any situation, and you're putting labels on anything based on your previous programming. And there's also programming that you're receiving every day from your environment. That I was saying, there are literally machinery that are being used to program our subconscious and create certain paths of thinking, certain ways of thinking. Therefore, it is very necessary that you don't let your mind run by default, either with the programs in your subconscious or the programs that you're receiving constantly. It is necessary that you program your mind instead, right? Instead of me thinking what society wants me to think, or what the television or family or the general matrix of the planet wants me to think, I am filling my mind constantly with affirmations and mantras that direct my mind into a positive direction. When I say constantly, I literally say constantly. When you're driving, when you're not having a conversation, when you're not using your mind to calculate or analyze stuff, you can use mantras or affirmations to send positive messages to your mind. You are already receiving messages every day and every single moment. As I was saying, you might as well put your own messages in your head and instead of by default accepting the ones that are coming from the exterior. So this is what I'm doing when I'm walking, when I'm driving, when I'm sitting in bed knitting, or doing something that doesn't require me to speak or focus my mind on specific things. I'm programming my mind with affirmations and mantras every moment, and that results in a raising of my vibration, and it results in mind mastery eventually, that you literally direct your mind in the direction that you want it to be. It is easy to learn mantras from various various sources like Tibetans and yogis and most Asian traditions have specific mantras that are very beneficial for health, for dispelling negative energy, for various other results, that you can use. But there are also affirmations that are in your language that your subconscious can maybe understand better, because mantras don't have a specific meaning that your mind can understand. You just repeat them and they have a certain energy effect. But the affirmations have a certain effect over your mind that's very clear and very easy to understand, because it's in your own words, it's in your own language. So that's when you can actually choose what you think. That's one of the ways you can actually choose what you think. I'm also constantly choosing my mood. If my mood is going low for any reason, it usually doesn't, but it can happen sometimes these days. I am constantly choosing to shift it as soon as I see decrease and downfall in my vibration. And you might ask, how do we do that? I either go out and move energy through nature. I'm moving and walking and go and visit beautiful places. I watch something that is empowering and uplifting. I listen to something that is empowering or uplifting. I think of something that is empowering or uplifting. So instead of thinking of what's bothering me, I choose to think of something that I've loved and enjoyed. So you move the mind from the direction that it wants to go to a direction that you want to take it to, and then you're mastering your mind. There's many other ways. I meditate. I use several light techniques and pranic techniques that move and clear the energy in my field, and so on. So there's various other ways that you can have the same result. Do you have any questions so far? I'm seeing people joining in more and more. Carl and Heel and Vivi, Slavida and Mircha and everyone else, thanks for being here. Let me know if there's any questions or comments. How are you mastering your mind? How do you change the direction of your thoughts, if ever? And what do you use as modalities to shift your the quality of your thoughts? What's working for you? You can type in the comments if you want, and I'll be happy to answer if you have any questions as well. We have a few more minutes on Facebook and Insta, and then we're completing and only participating with the ones that are subscribed, as I was saying. So any questions or comments regarding mind mastery and how to direct your thoughts in the direction that you want to manifest, rather than letting them free wherever they want to go? Thank you for being here. I'm also adding that there are certain habits that mind naturally has or has developed over time, that can take you in a low vibration, in a bad direction. One habit is the one to generalize. The mind compares past to present, and it says if it has happened so in the past, it will happen again. So it generalizes a certain aspect. It blows things out of proportion sometimes, which results in discontentment. It tends to make simple things into very complicated things if you don't pay attention to it. It can overanalyze certain situations and draw conclusions not based on facts but based on fears. Therefore, it clutters you with fear-based thoughts. So it has the tendency to control the situation by rather emitting negative thinking about it, rather than appreciate thinking about it, because if you close up, you can control the situation. If you're in a negative mood, and if you open up, you can get hurt by a situation. So it kind of chooses the negative mood, so it makes sure it protects you, which is weird because in truth you're really not benefiting from that. So these tendencies of the mind, they are not really helping us. They're pointing our life in a negative, in a downfall direction. So when you observe your mind doing that, either blowing things out of proportion or drawing conclusion based on fear rather than based on facts, or supposing, assuming, making assumption that it's more prone to believe than than checking the reality. So never make an assumption before checking the reality. I love to check the reality, to check with a person. When I'm hearing something from a person, I'm repeating that thing in the way I heard it, and check, I am hearing this and this and this. Is this true? Did I interpreted this correctly? Is this what you meant? So always check to see if the reflection you got in your mind is the same with the thing that the person wanted to transmit to you. Sometimes it isn't at all. Sometimes you're way off track because you're hearing something and you're interpreting things based on your own trauma, your own fears, your own previous past experiences, and many other imprints that have nothing to do with that person's reality. So it's best to check with them what you've heard and understood and see if your interpretation is correct. I've done this lately many times, and I've noticed how much energy I can get from just doing so. I am excluding the possibility of misinterpreting or misjudging a situation, or reading the signs badly and everything else. I'm making sure that everything is clear in my life and in our communication, my communication with other people. Very efficient, I believe, in keeping your relationships clear and free of drama. So these are my few tips for keeping your mind as clear as possible and mastering your mind. I'm looking forward to seeing you in this whole program. You can either join the webinar of today until the end. We have more than half an hour to go. Or you can also join the full program of 8 webinars. There's a link in bio saying Pranic Process Online, and that's where you find it on Instagram. And in Facebook, you have the link in the description of the video and in the comments. So you can join by clicking that link and letting us know you want to participate. You have all the details there. Or you can just type yes in the comments. We include you in the program, and as soon as we have the next webinar, we'll let you know. Thanks for being here, Facebook and Insta viewers. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you here, and Helen and everybody else. See you next time, and hopefully see you in this full program whenever you have the chance to join us. Big hugs.